Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Time with Byron. I am your host, Byron. This is episode number 67. Alongside me via StreamYard and live on YouTube and all available podcasts tomorrow. Anchor, Spotify, you name it, Apple, whatever, etc. All those podcasts. Alongside me is former Major League pitcher. Am I saying this correct? I hope I am. Phillippe Aumont.
Yeah, that's good enough for me. I've heard many versions, but that's good enough.
Perfect. I hope I'm the closest, by the way. Am I the
No, that's
closest?
pretty close. That's pretty close.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm glad. So I gotta start off. I gotta start off with the usual. I hate this. I know you hate this as a former player. Um, the lockout. What does that make you feel like as a former player?
I mean, it's all part of it. It's all part of the growth of the business, I guess, if we can say it that way. The game evolves, and everything around it. There's new people coming in. There's all sorts of new technology, and there's all sorts of new avenue. And I think in some ways it's a good thing. They usually don't happen that often. So, being a lockout, hopefully they get it done before season starts, and then that they'll put in there everything they need probably for a long period of time, and it's going to cruise, and it's going to happen again, and I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years maybe. We'll see it again because, just like I said, everything evolves around, and it's part of it. But you know, it's a battle. It's a battle between the players. They want something, and so is the owner, and um, you know, you just got to find the happy middle. Everybody's happy, and keep playing.
Now, I don't know if you still follow the game.
Nah, not a whole lot. To be honest, I not as much as I guess I should, and I would love to, but we moved to the country, and we literally isolated ourselves from total society. I mean, let's just put it this way: we're basically we if we could, we would literally get off grid and just live our peaceful life, and do our meeting, put our meetings out there, and but yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna try to get back into it, and it's just hard. I sort of left on the verge where technology was coming in, and I wasn't really for it. So it's a little hard to just kind of watch the game, and they're talking all these nonsense stuff, and it's just let the guys play. It's a human based game. There's no robots. There's no nothing. It's all humans are playing the game, and sometimes it's just bring up stuff that I think just useless. It's not doesn't go
I,
with the game.
I have to agree with you on that. It's died down, and that's why I'm still, even though I still watch it, I'm a fan to this day. Still, even though I didn't play the sport, I grew up in the '90s when it was small ball, moving a runner over. I agree with
Yeah,
you. Analytics, it's just gotten too. What's the word I'm looking for? You know the word I'm looking for. It's gotten.
I mean it's just too much. It's the analytic part. I mean I get it. I think some team are able to crunch up some players and numbers together where they save a lot of money, and they still win ball games and all that kind of stuff, and it's just and then but i don't think I don't think that wins you a championship. I
No,
just don't
no,
believe that.
I
To
don't
win
believe
a
it either.
championship, you just gotta everything's got to fall the right way for you. Guys got to be on, they got to be hot, and they got to stay hot. And I and you see it how many times do you see it where guys are hot for a couple of years and they sign this big deal. Next thing you know, like 2-3 years, they just go nowhere. They're not producing. It's normal. It's the human factor. Lots of stuff going on, and so I mean the analytic part is kind of pissing me off a little bit, but they implemented it, and I don't think we're going to see the game go back that much. We might a little bit, but I think it's too far beyond that. Guys and organizations are have all these technology now that it's going there, and I mean technology is skyrocketing. So,
Did you have a lot of that before you left the game? Was there a lot of that, or was that just getting into the game even worse before you left the analytics?
I mean, in 2018, I was with the Tigers, and that was sort of like the first year I got introduced to all these cameras and spin rate and angle, but it wasn't that developed yet. It was like it just got onto the market, and when I went back with the Blue Jays in 2020 in spring training, and then I saw that just over that period of time from 2018 to 2020, the improvement of what they were giving you as information, it was beyond what an actual brain can process on the mound. Like, I mean, as a pitcher, I'm talking as a pitcher here,
Right.
they were, it's like I'm facing you, and they give me the sheet and it's telling me, okay, in 0 count, on a fastball, you're getting this swing percentage. If it's a curveball, you're going to get this swing percentage. If it's a slider, and then it just goes on for every count, for every pitch. And you're just like, I'm supposed to learn these. Like, what if you're in, let's say it's 75%. What if you're not 25%? It's like, I'm playing against odds right now. I don't like odds. I don't think it's I get it where you want to put the best chance on your side, but I still think the human side of it is I mean, for me, it was biting me in my ass. Every time I was on the mound, they were shifting guys, over shortstop, and he was just blowing me through the second base hole. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, he was supposed to hit it the other way, and now he's hitting this. And so it was a tough swallow for me. I didn't really like it, and I think it just pushed me away. I just I love the game, but I didn't like the way it was going. So I didn't really care for it no more.
Since you were a part of that, if you take us through that, were you able to tell the manager, no, I don't want to go by analytics, I want to just pitch the human error? Or
No.
were you allowed to say that, or
No.
would they just take you out of the game or not let you in if you argued with it?
No, you don't take any of those decisions. I mean, if I wanted to, I could have been, while I'm on the mound and let's say I see the second baseman shifting towards shortstop, and I turn around, and I could have, probably said, hey, get back over. But I mean, that would have just caused a scene. I mean, it would have been on the bench, or he would have came out, and then we would have had, an argument on, in a mound visit or something like that. But no, you really don't have much to say, because, I mean, their reason is, this stuff works, everybody uses it, and they pay a lot of money to get these people to come in and give us that information. And,
right.
It's like, if I'm giving you a Mercedes, but you just want to keep driving your Honda Civic, there's just going to be like, well, we don't want you representing us with your Honda Civic. We want you to represent us with the Mercedes. So it's sort of might be a bad analogy there, but
No, I kind of
So
I kind of get what
so
you're
yeah, you got no say. I mean, it's you could probably debate it a little bit, and then but it's going to go as far as your pitching coach, maybe your manager. But as soon as it's not going to go out. You're going to sit down with any coordinator, and they're going to look at you, and they're going to be like, well, either you do this, or we'll replace you. We'll just replace you.
and that's the sad part. Like you said,
Yeah,
it's not a human element anymore. That's the sad part because
yeah,
what happened to the days of when hey, whatever you see has a pitcher, I mean, or an umpire for that matter, because they're thinking about getting the automated umpire in
yeah,
the home plate.
yeah,
I mean, you're taking out the human aspect of the game with all these analytics. It's like whatever happened to the human instinct.
yeah,
That is a lot better than freaking going by a stupid computer.
yeah. No, 100%, 100%. And for a long time, I was somewhat for the umpires aspect because as a player, umpires sort of can dictate how you're going to perform. And I've
Right.
been there in the major leagues where I'm the rookie and my first couple pitches are right down the middle. And
Yeah.
because I'm a rookie, they're ball. And
Yeah.
it's like, hey, ball's over the plate. It's over the white. Like, this is a strike. It doesn't matter if I'm 19 years old or it doesn't matter if I'm 39.
Right.
This is a strike. Like, this is the game. But, you can't have it, one way or the other. It's just, it's if they're going to go in for for the umpires, go ahead and it's got to go everything. And if they do so, I think it's gonna you know it's gonna fix a little bit of that aspect where umpires are no longer allowed to have their sort of, we call it, they have their show. You're not run we used to say, you're not running the show when they start blowing calls, and you're not run. So you're going to take that aspect part, and it's going to be more of a flawless game. All the calls are going to be right. But hey, it's the human aspect. You want the human aspect, as a player. Well, you gotta, it's got to be everywhere. And it's kind of it's a small road to go down to, and to figure that out, and what's left behind. What do we put in?
So
But
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, it's just they're gonna figure it out, and they're gonna test it. They'll see. Commissioner's got all the power, and if he sees it goes right, and the fans like it, and the games are faster, and it's gonna stay. And if it if the fans don't like it, and the reviews are not there, and they're losing fan base, and they're losing clicks, and they're losing viewers, then they'll switch it. They'll switch it around. That's what they
Right.
want. They want people to be entertained, and if they're not watching, then they'll reprogram the whole thing.
So you were drafted by the Mariners 11th overall in the 2007 draft. And I don't know if you knew this, but you are the third or earliest Canadian-born player
Yep.
behind Adam Lowen and Jeff Francis to be picked overall in the first
Yep.
round of the draft. Did
Yep.
you know about that?
Yeah. I mean, after it's not something I sort of carry around, and it's not on my resume or anything. But yeah, I mean, I'm aware, and it's it's really an honor, and I don't really know how to describe it, because it was never anything that I shooted for. It was not something that
Right.
I attempted to do. To me,
Right.
I was playing ball. I was doing my best, and
Yeah.
whatever happened happened. And I did my part on that, and the rest is history for me.
Yeah, the only reason why I brought that up was because I mean, to me, yeah, just like I know you wanted to be, it's something special, yeah. But the only reason why I brought that up is because yeah, looking at the sports wise, since you are Canadian, I know they mainly play hockey up
Yep.
there, and you don't often see that any baseball player from Canada being drafted that high. That's why I had to bring that up. I mean, that's
Yeah.
in its own right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I
You
just
know, I think I was in the right place at the wrong at the right time. Tremendous help to
yeah,
get there. That's for damn sure. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts around that helped me get there. Um, and I was really thankful for that. But yeah, you know, you don't see many Canadians, and still to this day, we're getting more Canucks coming out of the draft, and that's nice to see. And I think the game needs to keep growing. But hockey is so strong here,
oh
and
yeah,
it
oh
fits a little bit more with our mentality as well. And well, we can let emotion, go a little bit more. And I struggled with that for a long time. You know, I, all I wanted to do is just crush somebody, and I'm on the mound. I got to be peaceful, and I just want to literally take you out. That was the hockey mentality, and I wish I played. I think it would have been a great career the other way. I think I
yeah.
was I was
You
I was a
actually
decent player.
you actually are reading me to my next question. Yeah, do you think you would have had a longer career in the NHL than playing baseball? Because I know it's pretty hard to get into the majors. You're one of the very few select that ever get to play in the
Yeah.
majors. So, do you think you would have had a better career in the NHL because there's not as many levels to go like there is in baseball?
I mean, I will never. I'll not. I won't claim that I would have been an NHL player because I never played at that organized level.
Mhm.
So I'm never going to claim that. But I was a pretty damn good athlete. At any sport you threw me in, basketball, hockey, football, it didn't matter. Soccer, it didn't take me long to figure out, the nicks and nares of it. And um, I was a decent player. I was a decent player on the ice, and it's an expensive sport, so as a big donkey like I was, and slim and just growing, and you know, just out of their mind, his equipment was too expensive, so I couldn't. We couldn't afford it,
Right.
but it was. It would have been fun. It would have been definitely a little bit more into my character, temperament. I would have been a little bit more free. Um, all the roughing part and fights and stuff, and that's the good part of it.
So next question is a two-part question. When you got drafted, do you know who scouted you to go
Yeah.
that high? And did you know you were going to go that high in the draft?
Yeah, the scout for the Mariners. Oh man, um, I feel bad right now. I'm having literally a blank, but I can see his face in my mind.
Mhm.
He passed away as well, and he was a very very good man. He was very quiet. I did not know they were hunting for me or going for me, or um, they were just doing homework in the background. And um, I was part of the first televised draft. So 2007 was the first televised draft. Like they were sort of like
Remember
trying
that
to do
draft?
like I think football or whatever. They're trying to do like the other sports. And so I was one of three to participate there. It was me, Ross Detweiler, and Josh Fitters. Josh Fitters was there as well. So these guys, these guys sort of like they go early. Vitters goes like third overall. Detweiler goes sixth overall, and I'm sort of like sitting by myself. Well, with my mom. My mom was there on draft day, and we're sitting on stage. And I just had no clue. I just had no idea. I was just there waiting for my name to be picked, and sure enough, come the Mariners around. I just saw this guy coming out of from behind the stage, and he had a jersey and a hat, and I was just like, "Is this for me? Like I'm the only one left." So I sort of made 1+1, and I didn't really know what to think. I just really didn't. I had no idea. I just for me, it was just I was getting picked, and I was getting ready to enter the world of professional baseball. And it didn't matter if I went first or 20th round or whatever. I think it wouldn't have mattered for me. I was just getting that jersey and that opportunity.
Ouch! How lonely was that? You said you were the only one in the room. Everybody else got picked before you. How'd that?
No. I mean, it's you're not in the room. I mean, you're in the room, but you're like on stage, and then you got all 30 teams behind you. They all have their tables with their scouts and their scouting directors and their cross checkers. And so I'm like on the little stage by myself with my mom, just sitting there, just like, and picks are going by, 7, 8, 9, 10. Obviously I went 11. But it's like 3 minutes in between felt like 3 hours in between. It was just like, okay, well, I'm just going to sit up here. But I mean, I was naive in the process. It didn't really matter. I could have stayed there for the whole day, and it wouldn't have mattered to me. Would have just wasted a day. In my mind, I was just like, I just sat there for a long period of time, but whatever.
So you make your debut August 23rd of 2012 for the Phillies. Take us through that day in the life that you finally get the call up to actually play in that game. Take us through that experience. What was that like?
When the phone rang in the bullpen, it was the most uncomfortable feeling I had in my gut in the world. It's just that, I mean, anxiety, excitement, and just a rush of adrenaline and mixed feelings of holy crap, this is like actually happening. And I warmed up, and then they set me back down. They were letting the starter go another inning. And so that first call, I was just jacked up. I'm glad I didn't go in because, I mean, I couldn't feel myself. I don't know if, you or anybody who's listening, ever felt that sort of adrenaline where you cannot feel your body. You're just absolutely numb. That's what it was. It was just unreal. But I like I said, I got the call, and then it sat me back down, and I just sat down, and I was like, I need to catch my breath here. Like this is out of control. And I sort of worked on my breathing and calm myself down. So when they did call again, I was still really, anxious and excited at the same time, but that feeling, that numbness was just, it was still there, but it was a little less. So so then I go into the game. Once you're on the mound, is just, I mean, it's terrifying in a way. I mean, I was scared to kind of look up and look into the crowd. I was so like, I need to get through this inning. Like I need to get through this inning. And I was known to sometimes go on the mound and just look like the guy that never played baseball. Like I could just literally go on the mound and just literally start throwing balls into the nets, and I'd just be like, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, please don't have this day today. Just get it through. So no, I mean, I got out of there, fairly quick. and it was just a relief. It was just a relief. I got it done, and the cool part is, obviously no damage. I think I walked the guy and go in the clubhouse. We won the game,
Mhm.
so guys are actually, we actually celebrate a win, and people are actually celebrating the debut with me. A couple guys came up and told me some cool stuff, and it was just cool. Like it was just guys that frig I watched when I was a kid. Playing video games, and
Right.
now I'm sitting with these guys, and I'm like, these guys are legends, man. Like this is cool.
Do you remember who you went up against?
Yeah, first guy was Ryan Ludwig, and
Ooh,
then Todd Frazier,
nice.
and then Miguel Caro. I
Okay.
walked Miguel Caro, and then Raul Valdez, or no, Valdez. What was his first name? Valdez
Cesar.
was the last guy. I'm
Cesar.
not sure. He was with the Phillies before that. I played with him, and then I played again. Yeah, so I pitched against him in my debut.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it was a good first day.
There you
It's a good
go.
first day. Yeah.
Now, after that, like you said, unfortunately, you got called down. But when you got called up, though, did you think you were going to, after that performance, did you think you were going to stay with the team, or did they tell you beforehand that you were going to be called down after your debut?
So I stayed with the team the rest of the year. I didn't get
Okay.
called down. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I mean, the general manager. I mean, it's sort of the time of the year where guys get called up and they'll spend the September,
Hmm.
and it'll be called a September call up.
So you were one of those kind of basically,
So
just a little
it
bit.
was. I know it was a week before, but it was, and one of the personnel, one of the general manager came up to me and he's like, "Hey, he's like, you know, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got." And it was I, not to say that it took pressure off, but it was like, all right, like I know I'm going to be here for a little bit. Let's just give it a shot.
So now I see you. Tell me if this is true or not. You were in the Pan American Games twice for Team Canada in 2015 and 2019, and you
Yeah,
got gold and silver. What was
yeah,
that experience like? Because I know that's somewhat close to the Olympics.
yeah.
So, what is it like playing for your country?
It's the best time of your life. It's literally the best of the best. I would have played for Team Canada
Hmm.
hands down for half the money, for half everything, for my entire career. For a career, I
Hmm.
would have done that 100%. I no doubt. The international competition, for some reason, had me going. It fired me up. I think it was a pride thing. It
Hmm.
was, you're fighting for your country, and it's something you're proud of. You walk into a building and you got all Canadian geared up from head to toe, and you're just walking around and you see Dominican, you see Jamaica, you see Cuba, you see all these guys, and they're sort of looking at you like, like we look at them. It's just like, my country is better than yours in a way, not in a political way, not in
Right,
a,
right, right.
you know, bad way of trying to bring you down, but it's just that competitive of I'm wearing these colors, you're wearing yours, let's show down. So it was the Pan Ams were unreal. You live in a village, it's complete lockdown. You could not sniff a visitor in there.
Hmm.
Um, and it's all athletes from all disciplines, and you just bond. You just absolutely bond, and you live. Basically in Toronto, we were obviously home country, so we had our own building. The entire building was just Canadian. So
Mhm.
softball teams, and then you had volleyball and all the other disciplines. And so you sort of started making, friends, and talk to other people, and you see how they go about their business and other disciplines and stuff. It's pretty cool. Let's say that baseball players we're gong shows. We're bad. We're really bad. I mean, compared to any disciplines where they count their meals, and they go to sleep. We just get absolutely, we eat junk food, we get trash, and we live on 4 hours sleep, and we'll go play the next day, and we'll go about it that way, and we'll still perform. But it's just it was cool. It was really, really fun, and you get to go to other venues and just watch other sports, which
Mhm.
usually you don't get the opportunity to, or you're just not going to go. You're not going to go watch 2v2 women's Brazil versus Argentina.
Mhm.
But you know that these girls are, I mean, they're good. They're pretty good. They move, and they're good at their sport. So we got to go and watch that, and that was fun, and swim in and all that kind of stuff. So it's a full fun around experience. But the Olympics, I think it's the top of the top. I I wish I get to go one day.
So I see you were traded in '09 to the Phillies with Tyson Gillies for J.C. Ramirez and Cliff Lee.
No,
Now,
JC Ramirez and Gillies were
oh, for
with
Cliff Lee.
me. So
Yeah.
all three of us for
Yeah.
Cliff Lee. Yeah. Yeah.
Who told you you were going to be traded? Because unfortunately, you didn't get the call up with the Mariners like you thought you probably would have. But
Yeah.
what was that like being told you were going to get traded, even though I'm sure you probably wanted to stay in the organization?
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. You're just like, okay, like, what am I gonna say? Like, so I was like, okay, yeah, I was making some friends, I was making some connections, in Seattle, where I was connecting with people, and I was keeping in touch during the off season, and all of a sudden, you just all that sort of gets swiped away, and you just you go and make new friends, and these people, like, they're now opponents, and
Hmm.
it was just it was weird at first. It was another, like, start over, where I got to meet everybody in the organization, and who likes who, and he doesn't like me, or he's not, blah blah. And, but it was just one of those things, like, where, okay, well, obviously the one thing that I was focusing on is, well, they traded for me. That means they asked for me. That means they want me. So
Right.
let's
Right.
just, yeah,
True.
let's go. Let's just go, and um, let's trying to go and make it there, and until they tell you not to. And so that was it. That was but it was it was a tough trade. Tough trade. Go to Philadelphia. You'll
Yeah.
get
You're
you'll
held
get
to
screamed
higher
at a couple.
standards there in Philadelphia. They expect winning there with that
Yeah,
media.
they do. They do. I mean, they're just they're rowdy. They're rowdy. There's just, yeah, it's Philadelphia. It's sort of you know let's put it this way. They're not all nice people.
Oh yeah. Now you obviously pitched in Citizens Bank, which is the Phillies stadium, obviously, which is
Mhm.
a hitter's ballpark. You were a pitcher. How much did you hate pitching there? You
You
had
know
to.
what? I know. I liked it. It was one of the
That's a
nicest
shocker.
stadium.
That's a
It was
shocker.
one of the nicest stadium.
Everybody
I
hates
mean,
it.
Citizens Bank Park was really, really cool. I loved it. It's your home field. You gotta like it. I mean, if you don't like your home field, you're in trouble. You're playing half your game there. Like,
Mhm.
and you better find. So I didn't. I never really had the idea that it was a hitter's park. It was never in my mind because, if you start putting that kind of stuff in your mind, then it's just gonna go that way for some reason because you're gonna be focused on that. So I didn't uh, I didn't really think about it. Um, I loved it. I just loved the bullpen. I loved the layout of the ballpark. It was cool. It was really nice.
So, your final game, did you know that was going to be the end of your major league career, or did you want to continue playing again?
No, after that game, I was out of it.
Just
I
didn't
was
feel
not
like.
have I was not having a good time.
Mhm.
I mostly had big anxiety problems, and
Mhm.
it was sort of like it's a bunch of mix of pressure and self doubt, and you're going up and down, and I wasn't really prepared for that kind of mental game in general. Um,
Mhm.
and it's not, I was, like I said, I wasn't prepared for that kind of battle, I guess. And it got to me, and it kept getting to me, it kept getting to me, and I was just not having a good time. I was losing sleep. I lost a bunch of weight, and I was trying to be medicated, and it's like I don't need to be medicated. Stop giving me this medication, and it's like, yeah, you need it, and it's like wasn't going well. It just wasn't really, I wasn't really having it. So I mean that game was horrible. Um, it's prime time Friday night against the Cardinals, number one team in the show.
Right. Right.
Not going well whatsoever, and I'm just like, I'm out of this. I'm not gonna keep going on the mound and getting my ass beaten for a paycheck. I mean, no, this is enough. This is enough. This is enough embarrassment. Like,
Mhm.
I don't need to be drinking myself to sleep at night. Um, I think there's far more, better days in life than that. So I was just like, yeah, I'm out. And the Phillies were like, hey, don't take any, irrational decisions. And I was like, peace. I'm out. I'm not gonna do this. Like, unless you tell me, like, look, you can go home, relax, do your thing, and we'll see your later date or whatever. But you know, I took part, and I felt that was that was the drop that sort of go overboard.
So, in a way, would you say management didn't care about you? Is that what you're trying to say? They
Oh,
just.
they no, absolutely not. I think they did, but at the end, it's my decision. You know,
Mm.
and they probably, I don't remember the whole thing because I was so out of it. They probably tried to, you know, talk me out of it, trying to, get me to come back. And I know there's a lot of people in the organization that wanted me to come back, and they were like, hey, like, listen, this is just this is a bad stretch, this is a slump, sort of like a hitter goes through. You can have a bad year, you can hit 100, a buck 20 for a full year. It is one of those things. But like I said, I I didn't have I didn't have the necessary baggage in between the years to actually realize that it was and it was just yeah, I needed to sort of step away. Yeah, it was a weird feeling, but it was, one of those situation where you just feel like you got the rope right here under your neck, and it's just like, man, what is going on? It's just not fun. So it's
Yeah. So, like you said, baseball truly is a mental thing. Like,
yeah, it is.
it
It
really is.
is.
Because look what happened with Rick Ankiel. Why he was out of the league for so long after Pitt. Remember, I'm sure you remember him. He
Yep.
couldn't find the strike zone for the longest time. Then he retired, to find himself, and then he finally worked on hitting, and he had a successful career hitting.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it just depends on the mental aspect of if
Yeah.
you can get through it or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's it all depends. First, you got to go way back, and this, where are you coming from? Like, what's your environment, and how were you brought up, and it's all about confidence. And
Yeah,
as soon as you lose that, it takes a lot of hard work to build that confidence, but it can take a split second to lose it, and it's just
right.
unfortunate because it's like, man, I've been working so hard, but self-doubt is an actual thing, and it exists, and some people are having more a hard time to sort of get over that hump than others, and some others, some people they never flinch. I've seen some people, they just absolutely don't flinch at nothing, and it's like,
Yeah,
I wish I could be like you. I wish I could, but unfortunately my genetics are made a different way, and it's just the way it is. And so, um, yeah, but you find that out, when you sort of go through it, and you now more so now I'm interested in that part of the game. I don't care about the physical part. When I
right,
watch a baseball game, I don't watch any physical. I don't care. When
right.
people are sending me videos of their kids and they're like, "Hey man, look at these guys, look at my kid's mechanic," and I'm like, "Your kid mechanics are fine. You know, they could be all over the damn place. Look at Chris Sell. He's all over the place."
Yeah,
But the one thing Chris Sell's got, he's got an absolutely steel, concrete, wall between the ears, and that's
yeah,
what matters. That's what
right,
matters. So,
right.
it's that's the part that interests me now.
Did you remember who your first strikeout was? Did you get to keep the ball, and do you remember who your first home run was against?
First strikeout, I know it was the Mets. Man, I don't remember. I didn't even keep the ball. I was like, man, keep the damn ball. And I just, I thought about it when I got on the Mets. I was like, did I keep the ball or not? And I was like, man, I would probably have thrown that thing in a box. And I have baseballs upstairs, and it's like my first save, first pitch in the big leagues. I have the baseball. I have all that, and it's just sitting in the box. It's just, these things don't really matter to me. But they're a cool souvenir. I think they'll be much more cooler for my daughters, maybe. They'll be proud, hopefully.
Yeah.
But, other than that, after that generation, what's going to happen? That baseball going to go in the bucket, and somebody's going to play with it. You know what I mean? So that's, I keep my jerseys. I keep a couple trophies, but no, yeah, the first strikeout, I can't remember. I know it was the Mets. It was it was in New York. The first home run, man, who hit the first home run off me? I don't remember.
Nice.
That's a good question. I really don't. I have to look it up. I don't know if there's, if I can look that stat up. But if you're asking me who hits the most home run off me, I'll tell you that. Lucas Duda took me deep like freaking 3 or 4 times. I was like, Jesus.
He was a good player. That man, that man.
He had a good, like he was like in his prime when I was there, and like I had a hard time against. I couldn't throw a changeup. I had a hard time really throwing the changeup. So and that was his weak spot, right? He couldn't really hit the changeup, and I couldn't throw one. So it was like my strength against yours. So let's say who wins. And it took me deep a couple times.
So then, who do you have the most success with if Dudal was the one that did the most damage off you?
I don't know who I got.
It had to be somebody in your division because you had to face them the most.
Yeah, the only thing I really remember is like big names that I struck out. Guys that big time that I struck out, and I'm still proud. And people are asking me like, who are these guys? But other than that, I don't really have, my name in the nemesis column for anybody. I don't
Mhm.
think so. I really didn't. To me, like I just wanted to get 3 outs, at a time. I was like 3 outs, get on the bench. You got one more. Okay, let's try to go three more. Let's try to get 3 more outs, but I didn't really keep track. I wish I did. I think guys were a little bit more aware, and I wish I was a little bit more aware. I was so focused on just trying to get zeros all the time in a quick way and just get out and like disappear. But
Did you ever hit anybody intentionally?
I will not say that information. Yeah, 100%, 100%, 100%.
I didn't need to know the name. I was just like, did you? I just wanted you. Did you
100%.
ever?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
didn't need
it's
to know.
it's one of those things that sometimes you're called upon. Um, Sometimes it's just the way the game is. If something happens and pitchers on the other side are just doing their jackass and they're hitting your guys, well, guess what? I can do the same. I can do the same. I really didn't care, and I think I had somewhat an intimidating factor. I was big on the mound. So I don't know. I just but yeah, I was a little bit nuts, because sometimes I would get overboard and I'd go hunt for the head, which is
Mhm.
not good. But unfortunately, no, fortunately, I did not hit anybody in the face. Like I never actually got somebody in the face, although sometimes I wanted to because some guys were pretty disrespectful. But
Right.
no, I mean I did hit a couple guys on purpose. Like I said, sometimes it was called upon. Sometimes I took it in my own, into my own hands. But that's part of the game. It's
Now,
just
is that
it's
what
all
you
part
would
of it.
consider part of the so-called unwritten rules that everybody considers is hitting people? Is that the unwritten rules? Like what are the unwritten rules? I mean, I vividly, even though I never played, I've heard of them. I know that's one of them, I think, and there's a couple others.
What do you
Do you
mean?
are you aware of the unwritten rules of baseball?
No, I'm the worst for that. I'm very bad at. I'm the guy that's gonna do what I'm not supposed to do
Mm,
for some reason. I don't know why. Because I'm sort of like I was the type of guy, and I think I still am. If you take something to me and you're pissing me off, well, I'm gonna take this 3 notch up,
mm,
and I'm not gonna, I'm gonna go straight for it. And so sometimes that's what I did. I they pissed me off, or something happens, and I was like, well, I'm going for the jug.
mm.
Like I'm going straight for the kill. I'm not going to like even out, or and that sometimes got me in trouble, but you know, it's all part of it.
Now, what's it like since you lived it? What's it like in a major league locker room? How's the chemistry? How are the players? What's like a speech or motivational speech a coach manager ever gives? Like what goes on in a locker room?
I mean, it's you're all professionals, and you're all men, and everybody goes about their business, and especially in the big leagues. Guys are there for a reason. They bring something to the table, and they have a work ethic, and all these big name guys that get to stay there for 10, 15 years, they all have their work ethic and their routines. So you mostly in the clubhouse, you'll just see guys moving station to station as part of their routine, whatever they have going on that day. As far as captain or leadership, yes, there's always guys that will welcome the young guys and don't make them feel comfortable, and you always have guys that they play jackass and they just want to piss them off, and that's just the part of it, and you got to deal with it. And luckily, I didn't really have guys on my ass, and I was very fortunate about that because I saw a couple kids. Guys would come in and they would just absolutely get worn out. And I'm like, how do you sleep at night? How do you? It's tough. It's a tough business. You got to go out there and perform, and you got to stay healthy. You got to prove yourself. And sometimes when you got a veteran just shitting on you, it's tough. But for the most part, the leadership side of it will take over. It will sort of bury that annoying, crappy ass vet that just want to piss everybody off. And you're a villain, but there's more good than bad, so it will take over. And we had a bunch of guys like that in Philadelphia. It was cool. Guys that took care of you. They, Cliff Lee, took us under his wing, and I mean, bought me my suit. It's like a ritual. It's a thing. If the veteran buys a suit to a young guy, well, Cliff Lee did that for me. And that was pretty cool, and I still have that, and I'm never gonna get rid of that suit for some reason. I just have an emotional attachment to it, and I think it's pretty cool. And many guys, Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, you on the road, you pick up your tab and pick up your dues, and all sorts of stuff like that. So like I said, the good always rules the bad, but sometimes you just got to deal with it.
So a couple more questions before I let you go. What was your routine coming in? You were mainly a bullpen guy.
Yeah.
So what was your routine to get you prepared to go into a relief outing?
I didn't have an actual set routine, which is probably one of the main reasons I didn't have that huge successful career. Because if I look back and I look at all the guys that did, they all had one, they stuck to it, and that was it. I was more of a free balling guy. Like, however I felt that day. If I felt tired, I didn't want to do too much because I was like, I got to save up for the game. That's just a bad spot to be in. That's just, it's not a good thing. You stick to your stuff, and but I mean, the only real routine I had, it was once we got on the field and it was game time, then my actual superstition routine-ish was there. It's just like the first couple innings, we're just watching the game, but we're sort of shooting shit, and then but you're paying attention to how your starter goes. But once you go into the later innings and you feel this could be your spot, then obviously you start moving around, you start stretching, and that was sort of my routine. It was just the sort of trying to figure out, okay, well, the phone call might ring here and it might be me, so get up, get moving, stretch, get your body warm, get your blood flowing going, and be ready for that phone call. Because once that phone call comes in, they expect you to be ready in a minute.
Yeah.
So that's your duty, that's your routine. So that was the only thing. But as far as an actual routine, before a game and or in the afternoon when you get there, I don't know. I was clueless, I guess you could say. Yeah. I mean, I've seen guys like Roy Halladay. You can see this guy. This guy was never sitting down in his locker. He always had something to do, and
that's true.
of what he keep track of what he ate, and what he lifted, what he ran, and how many pitches he threw that day. And it was
unfortunately what happened to him. But yeah, he did. He wasn't working.
Yeah, no, it was he was. I mean, he's the best example I can give. But Yeah,
Yeah.
very unfortunate for him.
So this is my final question to you before we end it. 2-part question. What was your go-to pitch that you mainly used, and what was your pitching repertoire? Because most pitchers I know that I've had on use about, I think, between three to
Yeah.
four pitches. What was yours, and what was your go-to pitch?
Well, I mean, it really changed over the years. I mean, not changed over the years, but yeah, it got modified. So early on in the career, my power pitch was a sinker. It was a fastball sinking, um, and then I had the curveball. Those were the two weapons. Obviously, I try to get ahead with the fastball. I try to beat you with my curveball. That was the only thing I was trying to do.
Mhm.
Um, and then later on, I sort of, I mean, I worked so much on mechanics. They were telling me mechanics, 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 because I wasn't throwing enough strikes like they wanted to, and I lost that sink. I felt like I lost the sink, so I needed something that moves, so I started working on the cutter. So then that became my pitch. That became my go-tos was the cutter, and then the last 3 years, I was mainly a cutter changeup. I worked out a changeup. I found a grip. I mean, I fell in love with it, and I was just abusing it. And it was cool because it was working. It was a good pitch, and it was a good combo. So, like I said, it was I go from sinking curveball to cutter changeup. Um, so, but you'll see mostly every guy will sort of you have to you gotta create something new. If you're just the same guy for 15 years, you're gonna get whacked around. There's one guy that did it, and there's one guy only. There's Mariano Rivera. He threw that cutter, but
Made
that
famous.
cutter was that cutter was it was beyond this world. It was just let's put it this way. I mean, I seen it in my own eyes. It's just that thing was electric. So,
So
but that's an exception.
we've got 2 minutes. This is the last question. In one word,
Yeah.
summarize your career.
Summarize my career in one word.
Yep.
Um, blessed. Blessed.
There you go.
Um,
There you
I
go.
never asked for it. It was I don't know. Stars blessed me, and I had a good time, and we're moving on.
Exactly. Couldn't say
Yeah.
anything more. Well, I do appreciate your time. It was fun. I'll send you the episode. Feel free to come on as many times as you want. I'll text you here and there as well,
All
maybe
right.
during the season as
Yeah.
well, because I'm sure you'll be watching as well to try and get yourself back into the game, hopefully.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. We had a good time. Those were good questions, and very good talk, man.
Yeah, same.
All right.
Be texting you after. I'll send you the episode.
All right. Thanks, Byron.
No problem. You have a good night. You and your
See ya.
family stay safe. All right.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.